Covering the Universal Orlando Resort for over 5 years, you are listening to the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 215 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. My name's Hunter, and excuse me if I'm a little hoarse this afternoon. I've got a bit of a cough. It might be sickness. It might from being out till 4 a.m. at Halloween Horror Nights last night. We'll get into that, though. So with me this week, I have the lovely Tracy.
Hello.
How are you, dear?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Awesome.
Apart from being hoarse.
I'm a little hoarse. I think that about sums it
pony.
up right now. I didn't even wake up till like 1 o'clock today. So
Wow.
very late evening. And of course I've got Lee.
Hey everyone, and how are you?
I'm once again doing pretty good.
Good.
Running on a couple hours sleep. Well, I'm not too bad. Like I said, I slept super late today. But as you might be able to hear, unfortunately Darren is not available this week. But you can hear him on the latest episode of Dead Man's Digest, where he reviews the entirety of Halloween Horror Nights 26. So give that a check out.
Yeah, it was mainly just the houses for the one that's just come out, because I know they were running kind of long, so I think they're going to do another one focusing a bit more on the scare zones and stuff.
Okay. I'm just about halfway through. I think I'm on number 6 on their top 9 list or whatever it is. So looking forward to how that ends up.
Yeah.
It's the repository episode I'm looking forward to hearing.
Probably the most terrifying thing you can do at Halloween Horror Nights this year.
I would be doing it if we were there, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. We actually, I work in a very big technology store, as some of you might have picked up on, and we have a Oculus Rift demo in our store now.
Cool.
So I got to try that out. Very, very cool stuff. So if they're using technology like that, I think a lot of people are going to be really pleased with what the repository is.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's kick off the show. We do have some Producers Club birthdays this week.
We do indeed. We have a couple. We have Jamie Simmons, whose birthday is September the 29th.
Is that how you pronounce that? I would have said Simons.
Well, I'd have said Simmons.
Jamie, let us know.
And even if I'm wrong, just say I'm right, because that'll really get on Lee's nerves. And Ron Vysotsky. I hope I've got that one right, Ron. And Ron's birthday is October the 10th. So happy birthday to you both.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
So we do have, real quick, a belated wedding anniversary announcement.
Yes, this was my fault, because this should have gone out. I was just scrolling through the Facebook page the other day, and I found a message that we got ages ago. So, Andy, I do apologise that this probably should have gone out a couple of weeks ago. But Kerry and Andy Williams, who Kerry is one of our producers, it was their first wedding anniversary back on August the 29th. So, sorry I missed it, but happy anniversary, guys.
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary!
And I'll give Lee a big slap for you, and I will enjoy it on your behalf.
Is this the couple that had the DeLorean?
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool. I like
Keeping
them.
it universal.
Yeah.
Guess you could say they're living the adventure.
Yes, absolutely.
Love it.
Well, we do have a Florean Fortescue ice cream debate this week, and it comes from Michael.
Hi, this is Michael. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I just got back from 1 week at Universal Studios. My daughter and I went to Florean Fortescue's twice in our time there. Each got different flavors. We got different flavors each time, so I got to try 4 different flavors. They were apple crumble, butterbeer, chocolate chili, and salted caramel blondie. And out of those 4, I would have to give my vote to the chocolate chili. I think it was. They were all good, but I think chocolate chili is the clear winner. All right, thanks a lot. Bye bye.
It's the wrong answer.
It's absolutely the correct answer. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that.
It was nice. I do like the chocolate chili.
Yes, the one little taste I had was lovely, but
Yes.
I couldn't eat it.
You know, in full disclosure, I'm pretty sure I've said this before. I really like spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
I also like chocolate. It's just the perfect amalgamation of things I like. So, don't forget, we do want your ice cream debate entries.
And if you want your vote to be heard, just record as a message on your phone telling us who you are, where you are, and which is your favourite Florean Fortescue ice cream flavour. And email them to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com.
Or alternatively, you can go to SpeakPipe. Anyone who's new will have no idea why we're all laughing. You can go to speakpipe.com/UUO podcast and record your message there, and it will come directly to us. And for even better results, record them from the Wizarding World, because we love to hear stuff done live from the parks.
Absolutely. But only submit it if you're voting for chocolate chili. I'd really appreciate it.
Oh, butterbeer.
Oh, whatever mine was, because I can't remember.
I think you were apple crumble as well.
I don't know.
All
I
right.
need to go back.
Any last minute additions we need to add on here?
Nope.
No.
All right. Let's get on into the news. Good evening, everyone. My name's Hunter, and we are going to begin this week's news segment with a Little Things from Seth.
Hello, everyone. Seth Kubersky back again with another look at all the little things that are new around Universal Orlando. Since my last report, Halloween Horror Nights 26 has begun, and you can check out a new Halloween Horror Nights tribute located in the New York section of Universal Studios Florida inside the Macy's facade. Now, this is about 90% store and 10% tribute museum. There are some cool statues that you can take pictures with. Just be careful, it's real dark in there, so watch your step. Also in the parks, there is some action in single rider lines. Over in Islands of Adventure, Kong has gotten rid of its single rider line, so there's no longer single riders available at Skull Island, but you can now use Express. The Express Pass gives you a little glimpse of the animatronic witch in the queue, but misses all the other animatronics and the live scare actors, so make sure you try that standby queue at least once. Back over at Universal Studios Florida, though, they've added a single rider line to Simpsons. This is an experiment that's been going on for a couple weeks, seems to be sticking around, so try that out if you want to cut down your wait for the Simpsons ride. Also, over in Universal Studios Florida, I noticed in Diagon Alley, they now stock supersized pygmy puffs. They're about $35, just as adorable as the little ones, but they're bigger than your head. Finally, out in City Walk, Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast restaurant is now open officially, and that means it's open for lunch every day starting at 11 a.m. And the good news is that they've gotten the milkshake blenders up to speed, so they are serving milkshakes upstairs in the restaurant again instead of only to go. Thanks for listening. This is Seth Kubersky from the Unofficial Guides, touringplans.com, and Orlando Weekly, and I'll be back again soon with another look at the little things around Universal Orlando.
That Horror Nights shop this year isn't anywhere near as good as the one from last year.
It's not. It doesn't look a patch on it.
You know, I'm pretty pleased with the merchandise we've got this year, though.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's something for everybody. All the properties are represented this year in some way or another. So regardless of which house you walked away liking the most or what experience you did, there's stuff in there for you to take a look at. And they have little knickknacks you can take home too, like keychains and lanyards, like they always do. But there's a lot of little ways to commemorate your visit this year. I think last year, the reason they did such a blowout is, of course, it was the 25th.
Yeah. It's the actual chant image, like the logo for Horror Nights this year, I'm not that keen on.
No, and I agree with you there, but there's a lot of alternative merchandise. So, for instance, one of our favorites was actually an American Horror Story hoodie, which I'm not a big fan of the franchise, but it's pretty cool. But it's actually lined with like a red LED strip around it.
Yeah, you could get.
So it's lit up.
You could get the Halloween Horror Nights 25 jacket that I've got. You could get the same one with the same strip on it last year.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the T-shirt that I like, if I'd have been out there this year, the T-shirt I would have bought is the one that's got, Tracy, help me out, has it got Michael Myers, Twisty?
It's the Masters of Horror shirt.
It's awesome.
Reagan
Yeah.
and
Leatherface, is that what it's got?
yeah.
That is so cool.
And you know, we always get for the 2 years we've gone, including this year, we get the house shirt.
Yeah.
So just everything that's got the houses on it. I am kind of disappointed because I always kind of liked. It's a little tacky, but I kind of always liked the vinyl red font on the front of the t-shirts.
Yeah.
And they've done that for such a long time, and this year they did not do that. So that was kind of a letdown.
Because Raymond and Jade got them last year with is it all jacked up?
yeah, what did I can't remember what I got.
I think you got the same T-shirt as Jade, didn't you?
So I can't remember.
No, you got the house shirt.
I got the
didn't you?
house shirt.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
now.
It's getting to the time of year
trying
when
to-
I can wear it again, though.
I'm trying to hold back because I am going to the event at the very, very end, and I know last year they had a lot of that merchandise for like 30-40% off.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we'll get some major sales at the end of the event, and I'll be able to pick up some stuff I like, but I don't like enough to pay full price for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
cool stuff this year, though.
And some socks.
Yes. I need a little
Yeah, the Michael Myers, not Mike Myers. That's different.
little Michael Myers. I need a little
Cool.
Michael Myers.
The little universe figure that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
Gorgeous.
pretty cool.
Need one of those.
They've also got a lot of Funko Pops in there this year,
Yeah.
but
cool.
like Darren usually says, you can pretty much find those anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Seth, for your segment. Halloween Horror Nights did begin 2 weekends ago now, and it's been a massive hit.
It certainly has. So Halloween Horror Nights 26 began at Universal Studios Florida on Friday, September the 16th, and has seen rave reviews. Boo. Not happy. Should be rubbish because we are not there. Sorry. So yeah, Darren and Nina were at the media event for Dead Man's Digest, and Travis was in the streets seeing it from ground level. Now, if you haven't already done it, go and listen to the latest Dead Man's Digest for their full review and check out the article on our blog, and head over to youtube.com/UUO podcast to see their opening night highlight reel and the media event, which includes a Q&A with Horror Nights creative and Greg Nicotero.
Which we stayed up and watched.
We did. Well, I'm saying stayed up. I was falling asleep.
It was
and
late.
Lee did wake me up. But I'm glad he did, but I may not have seen the end of it.
That's on the YouTube
Oh,
channel.
it is. I have seen it all, but at the time I didn't see it. But yeah, they had a really good
They were
place
right at
as
the
well,
front.
right
Yeah,
at
they
the
were
front.
perfect. So, yes. Go on then,
Awesome.
Hunter. You were there last night. Come on.
Okay, so I was there last night, and gotta say, really, really impressed.
Which houses did you do?
The houses we completed last night. First house we went through was Krampus.
Cool.
We followed this up with Ghost Town. Then we did Bill and Ted.
Okay.
Just to kind of take a seat for a minute.
Uh-huh.
Walked back over, did The Exorcist, did American Horror Story, and then at the very end of the night we hit Walking Dead.
Okay.
So
So you only did one of the original houses.
only one of the original houses last night. We were going with a person. My girlfriend Kim and I, we have frequent passes this year. The friend that we plan on attending with a lot this year also has a pass, but we did go with one of our closest friends who could only afford to go the one evening.
Gotcha.
So we made
Fair
sure to hit all the major houses
Yeah.
that he really wanted to see, which is the reason we actually hit Walking Dead, because that's his favorite franchise probably in anything.
Fair enough.
So just kind of general thoughts. Krampus is actually Kim's favorite house this year.
Okay.
That's probably no surprise to you two in particular, because you know how much Kim loves Christmas.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Big
I
happy
really
with Kim.
feel I reached out on Twitter to a couple people. Okay, for people that are not 100% on Halloween Horror Nights and are feeling a little bit of anxious about it, what's a good house to start out with? And the answer I got most was Krampus.
Yeah.
So I really think Krampus was a good place to start off the evening. It's just scary enough, but it's not dark. It's actually pretty well lit. The scare actors are smaller because they're elves. So I guess unless you're afraid of short people, then maybe avoid this one. But very, very well themed, very Christmassy. Smells nice in there. So if you're after that, that's the place to go to.
Did you see Krampus moving? Because I know on the Dead Man's Digest they were complaining that the Krampus figures didn't actually move, but then I think Travis said that he could confirm that at least one of them did.
No, I did not see that at all. I did watch. After I got home early this morning, I did watch a Krampus comparison video of the one out in Hollywood, and it does look like we have a bit of a better version, but Krampus is much more active in their version of the maze.
Yeah, which seems strange that you haven't put the effort into the namesake character.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were expecting to see. I think Darren mentioned this on Dead Man's, but a lot of people expected to see more of like a puppet figure for him, and that I didn't see any case of that. So now, of course, it's only the second weekend. Maybe they'll continue to fine tune it, but I don't see them putting anything as major as a puppet in there. Maybe they'll just get a scare actor with a Krampus mask in on.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see what happens
See
there.
what happens.
Well, we won't.
No. Shut up.
Carry on.
So I think my personal favorite last night actually was, all of them were amazing, but I was really, really impressed with Ghost Town last night.
Cool.
And I know Darren said he wasn't incredibly impressed with this one, but when I'm thinking Halloween Horror Nights, it's not necessarily about the scares or the jumps out or anything like that. It's more of the set design and what they're putting in there, and I definitely think that's the most impressive. That's the most impressive house that I think I've ever seen them do. Maybe American Horror Story beats it out just by a little bit, but I'm a sucker for the Old West, so I was pretty into this one.
Yeah, I mean, we did the original house back in 2004.
Yes, of course,
there you go.
yeah.
Anyone who's playing the drinking game, there you go. Because we've mentioned Halloween Horror Nights. I'll be honest, I remember very, very little about it. But
it's one of the ones I do remember, that and Castle Vampires about it.
Having watched some walkthroughs on YouTube this week of this, it does look cool. The lightning effect, I'm a sucker for strobe mazes. So if you can do any sort of strobe in it, it's cool. And it does look awesome.
I love Wild West stuff.
And there's not as much strobe as you think would be in that house. And of course, there's the joke of, "That's my goal!" There's that guy in there.
Aren't we?
Which is a lot of fun because I yelled it right back at him. And again.
Awesome.
But there's one scene in particular that I think Darren mentioned. We're going to get into mild spoilers. I'm trying not to go too in depth. But there's a scene in there that looks very, very much like the Western shootout scene on the Great Movie Ride.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
I know the joke is that I always compare it to Disney somewhere or another, but it's as tall as that room. It's very, very impressive. And Darren mentioned on the podcast that the cannon didn't actually do anything.
Yes.
I'm not sure if they fixed it, but that cannon is actually rocking and making noise and lighting up when it fires.
Yeah, that's on the back of a truck or something, isn't it? Is that right, Hunter?
It's up in I guess it's almost like a barn.
Okay.
It's up on the second layer, and you actually feel, I guess, the cannon whoosh past the top of your head, which is really cool.
Yeah, I love they used that, like the air blast in Insidious last year with the shotgun girl.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and supposedly they've got some whoosh effects in the Halloween house and everything. I didn't get a chance to do that one, but with bullets and everything, they do have that too. After that, we did see Bill and Ted. This is where I'm going to agree with Darren. I didn't really find a lot to like with Bill and Ted.
I've heard it's bad this year.
Has it run its course? Because everybody always goes, Bill and Ted, again.
And it's unfair to compare, but this morning while I was actually writing a fact hunter that you guys will hear later on sometime, I actually watched the video for the hanging this year, which is at Knott's Scary Farm.
Yes.
And it was 10 times funnier than Bill and Ted.
Right.
I'm not sure if Bill and Ted has to play it a lot safer because it is such a big vacation destination. They've got to be careful about who they offend or what they say, especially after the drama that happened at Hollywood a couple years back. But Knott's Scary Farm pretty much went all out, and I think that made it a much better show.
Okay.
What about if they did two shows? One that was for
Joe
Public and one that was for the...
No.
If you're easily offended, don't come to this one.
Because everyone would go to that one. It'd be full. I don't know. I've heard bad things about it this year, but I mean, we went to see it last year, and I wasn't overly impressed with it.
I think I dozed.
It was more just for a sit down, and the fact that Michael Roddy was sat about 12 people away from us.
Just tearing my gaze from Michael Roddy trying to catch his eye waving.
When Bill and actually Ted are on, that's the most interesting and entertaining parts of the show. But it feels like for large sections of the show, they actually just hang back, and they'll throw in a one-liner every now and then. But as soon as they leave, it's not that interesting. And I like dance numbers, and I think dance numbers are great, but you can definitely feel like they're filling up a lot of space with dance numbers, and there's just a lot of really cringy stuff this year. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Anyway, right.
I've got to say a lot of it went over our head because it's American
stuff,
pop culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was nice to rest your feet.
Definitely. It's nice to sit down, and it's nice to see. I'll take Bill and Ted over Fear Factor any day.
Yeah.
Fair
Not
enough.
that we've seen it, but whatever.
So, Hunter.
Yes.
Just before I forget, how many times did you actually squeal like a girl?
I don't think I did at all.
You disappoint me. You did last year.
It's more of a bellow. It's more of a...
You've refined it then.
Primordial mating call.
Right. So this year you've made it sound manly.
Yeah, it was very deep. It was a lot of... sounded like the dude from Disturbed. A lot of...
Oh, ooh, wah, ah, ah, ah.
And this is where we lost half our listeners.
Funny because I've just really discovered Disturbed this week.
Yes.
The most disturbing house is actually probably
Pardon
the
my
next
pun.
one we did, which was The Exorcist.
Right.
I didn't really find The Exorcist scary. It's not really, possession is not something that really drives me crazy like I know it does a lot of people, especially if you are inclined to a particular faith. But very impressive on what they managed to do in there. Once again, I did compare it to Hollywood's, and their Reagans all had masks on.
Okay.
Meanwhile, ours were actually all done up in makeup, and they had like the specialized contact lenses, and it felt very, very real. There's a lot of really cool effects in there, and you could tell there's a lot of love in there, and they tried to differentiate it just enough so it didn't feel like you were walking through the same room over and over and over again.
It's a tough one to get scares in something that literally doesn't really have.
It has one scene.
Yeah,
maybe two.
but also doesn't really have a monster as such.
No, now they do put, once again, mild spoilers, so if you don't want to hear this, skip ahead like 15 seconds. But the evil face demon that you see pretty regularly inside the film, he actually is a scare actor, so he's pretty good if you're not keeping an eye out for him.
That's cool.
That very vampiric demon face that we all recognize. And there's a lot of effects where lightning will light up the hallways, and then you'll just see like the face imprint pop up right in front of you. So a lot of really cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
It felt a lot like American Horror Story, or American Werewolf in London, in the sense that they're not really out to scare you as much as just put you in a specific location and pay tribute to one of the most influential, some might argue, the most influential horror movie to have ever been made. So we appreciate it on that front.
So that worries me a little bit that they're going down that route a bit more with Halloween Horror Nights, that it is more about putting you inside the movie rather than the scares as such.
But don't forget, it's a movie studio.
It is, but they did it with Insidious last year. I don't get scared
awesome.
in Halloween Horror Nights mazes. I go for the sets and to watch other people get the crap scared out of them more than I do to get scared myself. But Insidious for me was the perfect mix of both, because at the end, the red-faced demon that came out, you were out of the maze,
and
then
was
they had
brilliant,
that little
yes.
cattle run thing that came out the side. That's the one that got me, and I think that was the perfect mix of being really scenic and faithful to the movie, but also giving
Give you that
those
jump
scares
scare,
as well.
Yeah.
And I definitely got that impression this year, at least from the houses we did. Everything is very much about putting you within a certain location, and they do it very, very effectively. Like the sets that they build, I kept reminding myself, they build this stuff for almost a year just to have it up for a month and a half, and then they knock it all down and start it over again.
Crazy, isn't it?
Which is crazy, especially when we talk about the next house, which was American Horror Story, because you do start off in the murder house basement, and it looks legitimately like a basement. It's brick walls all around you and just really creepy settings. And American Horror Story was probably... I did not get scared in American Horror Story nearly as much as some of the other houses. I would actually even say The Exorcist might be a bit scarier.
Right.
It's more about experiencing that world and getting up close with these characters that people have a really big affinity for. I'm not a big fan of the franchise, but a lot of people are.
Yeah.
But then you don't necessarily have to be a fan of the franchise to enjoy it as a house.
No, and I think Darren was on to something when he said, the benefit of if American Horror Story becomes this big annual franchise now, Unmasking the Horror Tory whatever.
Try again.
Unmasking the Horror Tour be damned.
Yes, we should mention that actually, because they haven't mentioned it on the Dead Man's Digest. So we should say that as of, was it Saturday or Sunday? Apparently Halloween Horror Nights, like Universal Orlando, announced on Twitter that moving forward with the Unmasking the Horror Tour, was one of the biggest things that people get to do inside those houses is take pictures. As of now, they are only letting people take pictures inside the original house, which is only one. Apparently, on there's two separate tours. You get 3 in each. If you do both, there's six houses, and there's only one of them that's an original. So the other 5 houses you will not be allowed to take pictures in. which has got a lot of people in uproar.
Which I can understand. You know.
And from what I understand, that house, if you're curious, is Ghost Town, which, once again, was my favorite just from the sheer scale and how amazing those sets are. But if you're paying for the prices for that tour, which is $100 plus to do that, and you're not able to commemorate that trip in any way whatsoever, that's a bit of a letdown. And I think Universal has noticed a bit of a backlash, especially amongst the fan community, who are the main people who go to this Unmasking the Horror event. So,
well, as we stand at the moment, Darren and Nina are supposed to be doing it for the show. That is currently up in the air.
Yeah. So a lot of people are very disappointed about it.
Which I completely understand.
But what I was saying is, aside from all that, if American Horror Story does become the new annual franchise, the nice thing about that is it's very varied settings and different creatures and monsters. It's not all the same creature like The Walking Dead. It's just zombies in The Walking Dead. With American Horror Story, you got a big man bear pig. You've got murders with knives. You've got creepy clowns. It covers the spectrum of pretty much everything.
It does. It lends itself much more to doing an annual maze for that franchise.
Yeah, and you definitely get the impression this is the direction that Halloween Horror Nights wants to go, which is very, very elaborate sets. American Horror Story definitely deserves some notice because I think it's the only maze that I've seen, and I've heard other people who have been going for years make this comparison. It's the only maze that they really, really put an effort into making the scare actors look like their respective characters.
Yes.
So a lot of really startling resemblances in there. Kim had a really good moment with the Lady Gaga character in the hotel scene of the maze. So lots of good memories there.
Cool.
Did she go,
Not quite. It was actually a little bit more sexual than that.
Oh, okay.
So she's
Go
kind
Kim,
of...
bleep.
Did you guys watch any walkthrough videos of it?
Yes.
Yes.
So I believe she's like it's like a iron elevator, and she's not strip dancing. She's more just kind of sensually dancing against it. And she actually came out and she like bit and sucked on her index finger.
Oh.
Like it was up there for a minute. But she was actually just setting up for a scare in the next room. So we felt a little let on.
All right.
But American Horror Story is, overall, I would probably rank it as the best house of the event that we've seen thus far, just because so many different characters, the sets are amazing. You can tell that a lot of love and care went into that house.
Did you say overall, including the ones you did last year?
Yeah, I would probably say American Horror Story is the most impressive house that I've seen personally.
So you thought it was better than 25 years last year?
Well, yeah, because even though it's a bit of a mishmash, I think the set design, complete credit to Universal Creative and their original houses, but there was something really, really special about how real American Horror Story felt. Like you felt like you were actually in that location unless you happened to look up and notice that you were in a soundstage.
Cool.
And finally, real quick, we wrapped up with The Walking Dead. I have never done The Walking Dead prior. I went with a friend who's really, really into The Walking Dead. It was the highlight of his night, and it's actually probably the scariest house that we went through that night. And I'm not sure if that's because we were the last people through, but we had several really good scare actor moments, and it can be very, very tight in there, so you're pretty up close with a lot of these. Wasn't expecting a lot from it, but we had a really good time, and we waited 5 minutes for it. So if you get a chance, check it out.
From what I've heard, it surprised a lot of people this year.
Yeah, I think it would have ranked a bit higher if it, it wasn't the fifth year or so of them doing it. But The Walking Dead has come a long way from what I understand when it was in the disaster queue.
And that'll be the last one.
Yep.
Can I just say, everything I'm hearing about Halloween Horror Nights, it sounds rubbish. I'm so glad we're not there.
My overall opinion of it this year, the houses look okay. I don't think they look as good as last year. The scare zones look phenomenal this year.
Okay, my general consensus is the scare zones are There's some really cool stuff like Vamp 55 and Dead Man's Wharf, but aside from that, I think the scare zones are easily the worst part this year
Right.
out of anything.
I don't feel so bad now. Who am I kidding? I do.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
I'm done with talking about Horror Nights now.
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Over it.
This time last year, we'd have only had about 4 weeks and we'd be going.
So now it's time to head on over to Hollywood with Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Hey there, Lee, Tracy, Darren, Hunter, how you guys doing? It is your old friend, Dr. Ian Malcolm, calling you from Universal Studios Hollywood. I know you probably forgot about me. You thought that I was gone. You thought I got abducted or eaten by a T-Rex or a Velociraptor or a Dilophosaurus or a Compsognathus or one of the other creepy crawly dinos here at Universal. No, that's not the case. I'm back. I'm alive and well. As you may have remembered, I haven't been to the park in a while because my annual pass expired right before the opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and all of the new annual passes that Universal was offering were not great deals. They were very expensive. They took away a lot of the benefits, including parking, still a big one, and so I didn't renew my pass at that point. Well, word is that over the summer, their attendance hasn't been what they wanted it to be. And so through the last few months, I keep getting emails with new deals for annual passes, new and better deals. Finally, last week, I got one that I was like, you know what? This one is actually worth buying. So I did finally buy a new annual pass. I bought the California Resident annual pass. It still doesn't have parking, but it was inexpensive enough that I'll work out parking one way or the other. Whether I Uber or whether I go with friends and we split parking, we'll figure it out. But the deal was good enough. I finally got a new pass. So I'm excited to say I'm back in the park and get to see what's new and what's exciting here at Universal Studios Hollywood. Now today, we're in the middle of August, and it is a weekday, but the park is solid in attendance. It's definitely not super, super, super packed, but it's also not dead. It's kind of a good middle ground, but I also think that's because it's still summer. Some schools may have started by now, but not all, so attendance seems solid. The attraction lines are between 30 and 60 minutes. And so that's a good solid day. Came in, had lunch, and realized I still hadn't done the Walking Dead attraction that opened in July. Shame on me. So I made sure to do that. That was my priority, to check out The Walking Dead, and I did. I just walked out of it, and so I wanted to share with you my initial thoughts, my review. Now, I only did it once, and as is normal for these types of attractions, I was screaming and I was startled and I was getting surprised, and so I may not have noticed everything wonderful in the attraction, but I saw a good amount. I remember some interesting points, and obviously I'll be going to see it again, and hopefully, each time I'll get more out of it. But I at least wanted to give you my initial thoughts because it has been so long. First of all, the attraction said that it was a 30-minute wait, and I think that we only waited like 15 minutes, maybe 20 before going in, so that was a nice surprise. And the queue, you enter off of what's the London Street, but it's not London until you get past The Walking Dead. But like when you walk into the main entrance of Universal, you go past the new Main Street, all the new facades, and you make a left, and the entrance to The Walking Dead is right there before you get into London. So you go in. There's a big crashed helicopter above the marquee. I took a lot of pictures of the queue for you. I'm going to send those your way so you can post them as you like. But the queue is really well done, really well themed. It definitely feels like a fully themed attraction queue and not a temporary maze queue. So I think they did a really nice job on this. The queue is all themed to the hospital that The Walking Dead started in season 1 when Rick Grimes woke up from his coma. So you go in, and outside there are bodies that are wrapped up in body bags. There's blood splatters. There's great theming, great props throughout the queue. Really well done. You go into the hospital, and that's where like your switchbacks are. But you go through. There's radios issuing warnings. There's plaques, there's hospital plaques on the wall, and I took a photo of this, I sent it to you, but there were a bunch of names on the plaques, and if you read the names, the ones that jumped out to me were Ellie Sattler and Alan Grant, which I'm sure you recognize from Jurassic Park. So if you come, when you come, check out these plaques and see what other kind of fun names you can read and little Easter eggs throughout. They also do have the infamous do not open dead inside doors that have now become totally iconic with The Walking Dead. So those doors remain shut, and then they start to open, the lights flash, sound comes out, and then all of these animatronic zombie hands kind of make their way from behind the doors. So that was a really neat thing, and that's in the queue. So I got a couple great photos of that. That was really well done. Then after you go through the big switchbacks, you finally get into the attraction itself. And the attraction is a walkthrough, very much like a maze at Halloween Horror Nights. And things that I remember from it, again, you start in the hospital, you do eventually make your way to the prison. The prison, the main prison room looks exactly like the one that was in the maze at Horror Nights. In fact, it might just be that. They might have just moved it over and reinforced it so it could stand more than just a month or two for Horror Nights. It made it more permanent, but it looks exactly like it. So I think it might be the same one. There is a great burning cabin with smoke and fake flames and a charred zombie who comes out. That was really cool. There's a room with the open trucks, and in the open trucks are zombies and hanging torsos of zombies. So there was that. You go through the woods. And so, it was a good combination of different locales from throughout the show. I think they also did a nice job balancing animatronic zombies, which there are a couple. I only saw maybe 2 or 3 that you would call animatronics. They had a lot of static zombie statues throughout the attraction. Lots and lots of those to kind of help make it feel like you're surrounded by zombies along every turn. There were some great projection and shadow effects that made it look like there was zombies in action around you. And then, of course, there were live performers. I think that the number of live performers was pretty impressive. My guess would be about a dozen. And again, I'm just guessing, but maybe about a dozen to go through. And, they're strategically placed throughout, so it never feels like you're in an empty room. And, and the setup is great. And usually they're right there with some of the zombie statues and things like that to kind of fake you out. So that was really well done. The performers were giving it their all, so that was really great. Some of the effects were really cool. I will say that although the queue felt very much like a permanent attraction queue, the maze itself did feel it felt pretty much just like a really well done Horror Nights maze. It didn't feel like as much like a permanent attraction as the queue did. Part of that, I think, is because like the mazes at Horror Nights, there was no ceiling or roof. So if you look up past the walls, it's just empty space and lighting and things. And so that gives it more of a temporary feel. But it felt like a really good Horror Nights maze, but not a lot like a permanent attraction. Obviously, the walls were a little more sturdy and things like that than you would get at Horror Nights, but for me, it did feel like a Horror Nights maze. But that's not a bad thing, because those are great. I just wondered how much more it would feel. That's my only real quote-unquote complaint, and it's not even a big one. It's a tiny complaint, because I still think that the quality overall was really good, and I had a great time going through it. I think the scares were effective, but I do think that they were slightly toned down because it was, the middle of the day when they know that a lot of people are going to be going through who aren't necessarily there like they would be for Horror Nights, but you can definitely tell that the performers can easily amp it up to make it scarier at any point if they want to. So I think the scares were good, but I do think that they were playing it safe, I think, because it's an attraction in the middle of the day in the summer, and so they don't want to scare the crap out of everybody. So I wonder about that, if it's going to be more intense during Horror Nights. My guess is it will, and my guess is, much like they used to do with House of Horrors, that they will then pack it with 3 times as many zombies to make it even better during Horror Nights, as opposed to now where there's still a good amount, but you can definitely tell that there's space to add more if they choose to during those busy times or during Halloween. So for me, walking out, really had a great time, loved it, Can't wait to do it again. I think it was a really great addition to the park. Nice to have something right there as you walk into the park. Nice to have something that is permanently scary for those of us who like to celebrate Halloween all year round. So it's a really good attraction. I was really happy with it. I think it was really fun. And again, I do look forward to visiting it multiple times, because once you stop being scared, then I can actually start picking out more effects and more details and things like that throughout. But as it is, really, really happy with the Walking Dead attraction. It's really good. So I guess that's where I will leave you. Really enjoyed it. Again, I'll send those photos your way. The park is in full swing. Hogsmeade seems pretty well packed. We didn't ride Forbidden Journey because that was about an hour wait, and that was more than we wanted to at this point, because in another couple weeks, all schools will be in session, and then I'll be able to go and play in the park all by myself. So that's what I'll look forward to doing. But in the meantime, here at Universal Studios Hollywood, Walking Dead attraction, big thumbs up from me. Hope all is well with you guys. I'll be checking in very soon, especially once Halloween Horror Nights begins. But until then, this has been your friend, Dr. Ian Malcolm from Universal Studios Hollywood.
Right, so we've all watched that walkthrough, and I'm surprised, knowing Dr. Malcolm as I do, that he enjoyed it, because I think a lot of people were like, really, we're putting a Walking Dead attraction in there. Having watched that walkthrough, I would be more than happy for it to replace T2.
Oh, absolutely. There were some really cool touches.
I think, Universal is kind of branching into Halloween Horror Nights into its normal day-to-day, just park. I mean, we see the implementation of a scare actor in the King Kong queue.
Yes.
And I think because the reaction of that has been so positive, I don't want to say that was a test, but I can see that having some influence on putting a Walking Dead attraction into Universal Studios. And I don't think it's going to be a big crowd driver. I mean, obviously that's not going to be their e-ticket attraction. Yeah. But if they need something to be a placeholder while Fast and the Furious is delayed, I think that's a pretty quick solution for them to put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree.
I mean, you watched that walkthrough and it was pretty elaborate. The queue was awesome, and then like the set for everything. And I'm going to say, Tracy and I talked about this over dinner tonight. That burning house section was phenomenal.
It was.
Yeah, some of the best fire I think I've ever seen in a theme park attraction.
I couldn't get my head round what it was, because it didn't look like projection, but I'm still not quite sure.
Can I just say, right at the exit, there was kind of like a back end of a truck open with zombie torsos
they were
hanging.
Cool.
But they were actually hanging by rope, so everything that was making them move was within the body of the...
That was so cool.
I had to keep looking at that. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
It looked like there's some really good scares in there as well.
Yeah, and you can definitely get the impression this is not meant to replace Halloween Horror Nights. I don't think it's anywhere near as intense as some of the Halloween Horror Nights stuff is.
Yeah.
But for someone who wants to visit the world of The Walking Dead, and for someone who wants something a little bit different than roller coasters and 3D rides, I think this will do a really good job of filling that void.
And there are quite a lot of us who do live for this one time of the year that like those little scares. This just gives you a taste year round.
That's it. There. I think it gives Universal a way of promoting Halloween Horror Nights to those people that wouldn't necessarily buy a ticket for it.
Yep.
If you're people who, I don't know whether I'd do Halloween Horror Nights because it'd scare the crap out of me, will try this Walking Dead maze and go in and go, oh, well, if this is what Horror Nights like, I can do this.
I think that's what a lot of people... Actually, I shouldn't say this because a lot of people decide to go. I think people are expected to be real massive scares, and it's not. It's just little jump scares.
That's all it is.
It's fun.
Yeah. And I think just real quick, I think we're seeing the end of 3D movies in theme parks. Just because with all of the 3D actual rides that Universal has at this point, I think a lot of people are going into 3D movies and going, that's cool, but that's it. I've seen it once.
Yeah.
There's not a sense of motion. There's not a sense of being in that world. So why would I ever feel the need to do it again?
Agreed.
And as much as we like T2, it's getting up there. It's showing its age. And I think this would accommodate people that they're tired of seeing The Walking Dead at Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, well, you can have this year round, and that'll open up one of our other spots.
Yep. And
for people that do love The Walking Dead, it's always there.
Yeah. And so there's already something there that they don't have to. They just, as Dr. Malcolm said, you just add a few extra scare actors in there for Halloween.
Well, that's it. That would be my concern, is they would include it as one of the Halloween Horror Nights houses, or whether they would open it as well as the 9 houses.
I think they'd have to do it like that. A couple of cool, well, a cool thing that Dr. Ian Dr. Ian Malcolm pointed out was the plaques on the walls.
Yes. Ellie Sattler and
Alan Grant.
Say Ian Malcolm there. No, that's him.
I love little touches like that.
Yeah. No, I'd be glad to see it come to Orlando, and I've never thought I'd say that, especially because I love T2 as well.
I think all three of us would rather see that than overtaking something like Men in Black.
Yes.
We want to see Men in Black get touched up, but I don't think we want to see Men in Black as a property leave.
No, not at all. I think I'm hoping that when this Men in Black 23 Jump Street crossover thing comes out, that they might implement that into it.
And I think you might be onto something there. I think that's going to be pretty successful for Sony. And as someone who likes both of those franchises, I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Absolutely.
All right, so Walking Dead coming to... I think we started off the rumor saying Men in Black. Over the last couple months, we've switched it over to T2 3D, and it looks like that's... If we do get it, I'd put money on that's where it's going at this point.
That rumor has gathered a lot of strength over the last 3 months.
Too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, that's a section of the park during Halloween Horror Nights. It's pretty dead. I mean, that's a scare zone this year, and it was the last couple of years. But they don't have any major attractions to drive people that way. So if people want some zombie action at Halloween Horror Nights, that'll drive them to that corner of the park that's usually pretty empty.
Yeah, because as someone walking in the parks, you've got no real reason to go through that scare zone other than to go through that scare zone.
Yeah, you walk through it 2 or 3 times, and unless you're really, really into the property, like we really enjoyed our time in Vamp 55, but after we walked through it 2 or 3 times, we were done for the evening.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, you put a destination in there.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm all for it.
Awesome. Yes, me
too. And I'm quite surprised at that.
All right, so now we're going to head on over to Autism at the Park, which has Maureen over at Universal Studios Florida.
Hi, this is Maureen Deal with Autism at the Parks, and I'm reporting from Universal Orlando Resort for the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. And today I'm at Universal Studios Florida, standing outside the Shrek 4D attraction. And this attraction is a 3D movie with the seating will move and jar you. There's no height requirement to enjoy this attraction. However, guests with strobe light sensitivity are cautioned to avoid this attraction. Also, you can ask for stationary seating if needed. And this is a fun attraction for everyone in the family to enjoy. And this has been Maureen Deal for the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, signing off from Universal Studios, Florida.
Let's just leave it at that. Hopefully that won't be there much longer either.
Maybe Halloween Horror Nights will just get 2 Shrek theaters filled with attractions.
Yeah, maybe.
Maureen couldn't say much about it either.
No, there's not an awful lot to say about it, is there?
No, it's pretty dated, and I would actually say I would rather see Walking Dead go there instead, but it doesn't really fit the theming for the front of the park. I mean, nothing fits the theming for the front of the park, but I don't think Walking Dead will be one of the first things you walk in and see.
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, thanks, Maureen. So if the rumors are true, and you want to head over and ride T2 3D before it becomes a permanent Walking Dead attraction, then you need to visit Universal Orlando soon, and you can take the hassle out of booking by giving our sponsor a call.
Yes, Fairy Godmother Travel can take care of all your Universal Orlando vacation needs at no extra cost to you.
And if you're planning to visit Disney, like me, they can help with that too, as they are authorized Disney vacation planners.
Yep, you can contact them today by phone on 832-284-4002, and I'm going to do this the Hunter way, or toll free on 888-939-64-25-39. I like that. Or go to fairygodmothertravel.com.
And please let them know that you heard about them because of the UUOP. because every referral made through us helps us continue to bring you the best weekly Universal Orlando podcast.
All right, so we've got some listener emails this week.
We have the first one is from Daniel Livingston, and he says, "Hi all at UUOP.
Hi!
I have been a listener since the beginning and even managed to have my very own SPEW story read out way back in episode 45. For anyone that's a new listener, SPEW is the Society for the Promotion of Employee Well-Dones. We haven't done any of them for ages.
We haven't. Send them in, people.
Yes, basically, if you have a team member that goes above and beyond, and makes your journey special, let us know about them. It says, as I unfortunately missed the podcast meet in 2013 by 1 week, I was wondering if you have any plans to visit the parks from the UK next year. We have plans to visit the parks from the UK every year. They just don't always come off.
Yes, we are working on it, but can't make any promises.
Yes, we are hoping. The Malaby household is in turmoil financially at the moment, so yeah, that's about all we can say.
Well, I've got
really.
a reason to go to another part of America, and I'm trying to work it out so we go via Florida.
Without the kids.
Shh, don't tell them.
They don't listen, so it's fine. He said, I have finally booked to go back in September 2017 after what feels like the longest 4 years away. I cannot wait. There is no better way to prepare for my return to Orlando than to listen to the podcast from the start.
Wow.
Yes, you heard that. He is currently on episode...
We apologise.
65. Really? A long way to go, but certainly building my level of excitement until I return. 365 days and counting. Thanks, Daniel.
I am so embarrassed, Daniel. Right, I shall take the next one then. This one's from Bash Chetty. Hey guys, just thought I'd get in touch to add some pointers to what you guys have mentioned before in your episodes. I know the last time I emailed, I rattled on for ages. I could say something sarcastic there. I won't, I'll be nice. I was the one who mentioned the story of the cast member who said things about my lip ring when I was going to the Magic Kingdom. So I will keep this short and sweet.
For anyone who doesn't remember, that was not a family-friendly story.
No, it was not. Concerning the signage for the Simpsons mobile game, The Simpsons Tapped Out in Springfield. Oh, yes, I remember that well. Many an hour lost on that. People may be upset with this, but they have to realise that this free mobile game has earned EE Games and the Simpsons brand over $100 million.
Is that still on the Springfield
Yes, your
sign?
daughter still plays it.
No.
What?
The Springfield sign is what? It was advertised on the Springfield sign. You didn't actually read that, did you?
I did.
Is it still there, Hunter?
I haven't looked. I've never noticed a sign like that before.
Okay.
I remember Jade and I commented on it because we were playing it.
I don't remember.
Skull Island. I have not been, but a friend of mine went last week. Said it was overrated and was disappointed. Was not as good as the other rides there, including Transformers and Spider-Man.
Hunter?
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I still stand by. I definitely think it's one of the best rides in the resort. But I will say that ride is heavily, heavily dependent on where you are seated.
Right.
If you are right up against the sidewall or you're right up front, you're not going to have a good experience. I wish every seat was just as viable as an option as everything else, but it feels like only half the truck is in a good position. So sorry if you had a bad time, but give it another go. There's a lot of factors that go into making that ride feel like it does. And I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying about Ghost Town at the beginning of the episode. Even if you're not a big fan of the ride, kind of like what I was saying about the scariness of Ghost Town, I think a lot of credit goes to Universal just for the scale and how much work they put into that attraction on pretty much every level. So
I'm excited to, having watched the video on YouTube and having spoken to Adam Rivest about the attraction, I am excited to ride it.
Yeah, and I've said this before, but it's the closest thing I think we have to like an Indiana Jones adventure type ride out here, so I give it a lot of credit for that too.
Not to take that away from Bash's friend's opinion. I'm just saying. Next one he's talking about is smoking in the park.
Yeah, we had a conversation about this the other week, didn't we?
We did. Ban it in all parks.
I agree.
Absolutely agree. I walk from Liverpool Street to London Bridge to work every day, and you always see people smoking, and a work colleague I was with was burnt by a smoker. He was just walking past, and the smoker had a cigarette by his side. The result, one burnt arm and a smoker that just shrugged and walked off. I just saw red, caught up with him, and knocked it out of his hand and gave him a mouthful. Didn't even get a sorry. I've been in that situation.
Yep.
And it's I'll tell you what, a cigarette burn is very painful as well.
It is. Let's not get too controversial,
No.
I'm sure we could.
Of course. Horror Nights. I'm a huge comic fan, collected them for over 30 years. There are a few stories that really stand out and have a huge following. One of them is Marvel Zombies. Hello?
Okay.
Oh, hello. got my attention. It started in a Fantastic Four comic for 2 issues as an alternative universe they visited. It got such a huge response that a comic series was born. The first, Marvel Zombies, is amazing. Such a good fun read. There are a few more collections out there, but the first one is the best. The covers are fantastic, and will there be a film? Who knows? Will it be featured in a Halloween event, a zombified Captain America, Wolverine and Spidey chasing human meat?
We've kind of already had that, didn't they? Do when it was in Islands of Adventure, they kind of had it was like the villains won, so there was like Spidey's costume hanging over one of the.
Yeah, but it wasn't really zombies.
No, but it's,
the bad guys won.
Yeah, and I think the problem is with the contract and everything as it is, I don't think you're ever going to see that at Islands.
Which is a shame.
No, I don't think Disney will ever allow them to do anything Halloween Horror Nights again.
No.
Anyway, that's it. Keep doing what you guys are doing. It's all great stuff. Cheers, Bash.
Awesome, thank you, Bash.
Cool.
Did you guys ever read the Marvel Zombies comics?
I've never heard of it.
It's actually, they're written by Robert Kirkman, if I remember correctly.
All right.
Or at least the original series is. So
Cool.
I think my favorite was the 3rd series, but there was actually I know you two will be interested in this. There's actually a Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness.
Ooh.
So check that out.
Awesome.
All right. So this one is from Bradley Gordon, and he says, "Hey, UUOP team. I finally plucked up the nerve to send you some fan mail." It kind of sounds like a bass string. I finally plucked up the nerve to send you some fan mail and decided that there is no good reason to be afraid to reach out any longer.
Exactly.
We're terrifying people.
Not really.
I began listening to your podcast around midsummer, and I've been tearing through episodes at a rate that I'm embarrassed to admit. I've always been an avid music listener, and I would fill the silence on my long drives with playlists of songs, putting a lot of time into curating the just right list to keep some variety and excitement in my downtime. I understand. I'm the same way. It got too exhausting, and I began to lose interest in keeping up with my meticulously curated playlists. Send me your tastes. I'll help you out. Finding your podcast has rejuvenated my drives and my quiet time, and I'm digging into the back catalog of episodes since I have gone through most of the relevant and up-to-date ones.
Someone else. Seriously, all these people are gluttons for punishment.
Although I find myself listening about events and attractions openings that have come and passed, it's interesting to still pick up on little bits here and there about parks that I've been heretofore been ignorant to. I literally learned that me ship the olive was a thing last week.
Okay.
Some amazing views. Check it out.
Yeah, it's
So
awesome.
we only visited for the first time last year.
True.
It's also fun to listen to your predictions about the new installations and ride makeovers. Hunter, that's me. Totally nailed the prediction that Stan Lee's cameo for The Amazing Spider-Man would be in the form of our new truck driver.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and check that out. I didn't know I did that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
What else will I predict next?
Just make some up.
To be fair, though, he did get, I think he's got 3 cameos in there now.
4, hasn't he?
3 or 4, yeah.
4, I think. Yeah.
The Clone Saga, the movie theater, the truck driver. Then he's at the end when Spider-Man comes down to take your picture.
Yeah.
I think it's 3.
I think there's 4, but anyway.
Okay. Before I get too long-winded, I just want to finish by saying how great it has been listening to you all the past several months. Thank you. My wife and I just got annual passes after being without them for over a year. We started getting the unbearable feeling of loss around April, so we knew it was time to get them once more. The UUO podcast has given me fresh eyes for a park that I thought I knew perfectly. Also, I haven't heard every episode, so forgive me if this has been discussed. I was hoping you guys might discuss some of the things you all like to do when waiting in those dreadfully long lines on peak days. Any game activity ideas would be a welcome topic for my wife and I, as we don't usually lay down the extra cash for express passes.
And
finally,
top 5 things to do in line.
Yes, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Play on your phone.
Take a poo.
Nip the person in front's bottom and turn away, look at somebody behind you in disgust.
Anyway.
Claim that your family is at the front of the line and continue to push past everybody else. And finally, I swear, I know you've discussed your favorite queues, but I was curious about everyone's favorite attraction entrances and marquees. I remember recently listening to an episode where someone mentioned the forgetful entrance to Spider-Man.
That was me.
So I was hoping you could identify which queue entrances were the most eye-catching of the bunch. This one's easy. It's number 1. It's Forbidden Journey.
Well, we need to don't do this. I think this should be our next top 5 because I think this is a good one because there's some major contenders. I think for this. It's not as blatantly obvious
There's
as
at least
you
3
would
have sprung
think.
to mind.
Okay, well, here, let me just lay this out there. My number one is
Don't.
Forbidden Journey.
Don't do it now.
It's the
Not
most
listing la la la.
Stop.
impressive facade you've ever seen.
Stop. Shush. We'll do it.
Are we doing just Universal Orlando when we do it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Why?
I was going to completely leave Universal off the list.
No.
Winking at the microphone.
But we will do this, yeah. I think it'd be quite interesting because I see Todd Elsroth will have one they expect to be in everybody's list at some point.
Yeah, it's Stormforce Acceleratron.
Yeah, absolutely. Does that even have a facade?
Thanks again for putting together quality content as often as you do. I look forward to getting notifications that new episodes are posted. Keep up the amazing work.
Yes, there's some great top 5s there. That facade one's one I've been thinking about for a while. And I think, it's one of those. I think we'll probably all have very similar lists, but I think what you have down as number 1, like you said there, is the facade for Forbidden Journey, the castle. Is that it?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Right.
Absolutely, it is.
Okay.
Just like the mansion is the facade for Haunted Mansion.
All right. I don't think it's as
Oh.
obvious as you think.
That'll be fun. I think we should do that
Yes.
ASAP.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, with all that said, we have reached the episode of 215. So, my name's Hunter, and for Michael, Seth, Maureen, Daniel, Bash, Bradley, Lee, and Tracy, this has been the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, signing off.
That's it for another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave us a rating and a review. Listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and all your podcast apps. Email us with any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com, or, even better, record your message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Check out our blog for even more content at uuopodcast.com. And finally, our sponsors, Fairy Godmother Travel, are here to help with all your Universal vacation needs. So check them out today at fairygodmothertravel.com. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.